Hey, so I guess I was having some connection issues on my desktop. So I am giving this a go from my phone. So what I was talking about was letting my freak flag fly, and I was attempting to make a joke that we're not talking about like kinky sexual freak flag. We're talking about that's a whole nother, like I said, that's a whole nother topic and video for all of that. But what I am discussing is how I show up in the world, how you show up in the world, and how each person's perspective is very different from each other, and that I've been contemplating also how how am I showing up for myself? How am I honoring my clients and my customers? And like what's going on in my head? My ego's like, you have to figure this out. You have to figure out, why you're struggling with this, and why this, and why that, and how you should be showing up. And that's the other thing is I'm working on not worrying about the how, but just being me and sharing my perspective, even though the logical societal brain of me says, well, your perspective is probably not widely accepted or viewed as the norm. Well, screw norm. Like, I'm it. Like, this is me, and this is how I show up in the world. So I wanted to give you a little insight into how I, as Christy All, psychic medium, Christy All, probation officer and investigator and life seeker and teacher and speaker and author and all of those things, how I see the world, because I want there to be acceptance around how you view the world, and not this sort of hanging on to what it is you have to offer, hoarding, if you were, what it is you have to offer, and not, just telling people, like, no, this is how I view the world. So anyways, an example is, so you guys can have like a visual representation. If you haven't seen the movie Lucy, or even the movie The Matrix, that's, very Hollywoodized, very stylized version. But the idea isn't about the movie plot. The idea is that's how the world shows up for me. So in the movie Lucy, there's a particular segment in the movie where she's sitting in the car and she's looking out and she's looking at the trees and she's looking at the buildings and she's looking at all of these things, and to her it's all energy. It's all varying degrees of energy, and that it is not just the physical representation of a tree, like everybody sees a tree, brown trunk, green leaves, that sort of thing, but that it is about energy. And also in the Matrix, it's about, in that moment where, say Neo's in the hallway. If you've never seen the movie, I'll describe it for you really quick. The main character's in the hallway, and he has this moment where he's like realizing that he is part of the whole, that we are all part of a collective spiritual whole, and it is represented by a bunch of numbers and symbols, and how that is represented energetically is that you can see through the physical representation and experience what the energy is behind or within each of those things. So for me, it's not a visual experience like it is for in the movie Lucy or in The Matrix. That's the closest I can get you into my mind of how it feels, how the world feels to me. And I can tell I'm getting like really passionate because I'm talking with my hand, and you probably see my shadow going over my face. But this is exciting to me. This is my freak flag. Like, this is how I see the world. And when I'm really in tune, and when I'm really I wouldn't even say grounded, but when I'm really just living from a space at my core, and core understanding, that is how I experience the world, seeing through what is the physical representation and only experiencing the energy of it all. And it is this beautiful and amazing, and it even just like makes me emotional because I feel that. And I want to bring that feeling and that understanding and that connection to everyone I come across. I want to share that with them so that they understand that we are so connected and we are all a part of the collective, the collective good, the collective energetic essence that we all are. And I would love to hear what sets you apart? Like, what's your freak flag? How do you feel into the world? So I'm not looking for like political perspective or societal perspective necessarily. That's not a topic for here. I just want to hear, tell me something about how you operate in the world that you wouldn't necessarily share with the public. And now's your chance. So I've just shared basically that how I view the world is totally different, and how I feel it and how I show up is totally different than anybody I've ever met, ever. I mean, there's a couple of people who get it, but that's not how they show up in the world, but maybe they're understanding, which is cool, which is great and fabulous. But I'd love for you to comment below and share what it is that you bring fresh, new, different in your perspective. So thanks for joining me and watching me wave my flag and having a new understanding about how I show up and operate in the world, and just sort of give you a peek inside what goes on, as I'm walking around Sprouts or getting gas in the car. It's always there. So have a really fantastic weekend. Also for tomorrow, I'm hoping to be showing up around at 11, because 11's the number. 111, showing up at 11. So that is my intention. And but if for some reason I'm out and about, excuse any sort of tardiness, but my intention is to be here tomorrow also at 11 o'clock. So have a fabulous Friday. It feels like summer out. Go hit your favorite spot where you can relax. And don't forget, comment below and tell me about what makes you unique about showing up in the world. All right. Love you guys. Bye.